Hello everyone, this is my reaction to yesterday's ISC Design Brief Cargo Career 1.
So that includes physicalized cargo, in-game shops, and newer features that we're looking into such as exploration.
So at this point, a lot of what we're working on is still in the design phase.
Still in the design phase, who would have thought? 6.5 years ago, Tony Suborak said, we actually got a pretty comprehensive design right now when they were talking about loading, unloading of cargo. And now, 6.5 years later, CRG is still in the design phase.
We've actually got a pretty comprehensive design right now.
Midterm, there'll be freight elevators to load these onto your ships.
The focus of NAPU in the foreseeable future is going to include features such as freight elevators and instance hangars, as well as persistent hangars. Freight elevators are one of the biggest changes to cargo that we've seen in the entire history of the game. They bring the feature from being something that's somewhat magical to something that's physical. It adds friction, but also a gameplay experience around hauling cargo in our game.
I haven't watched this video yet. Let me guess, we are supposed to move cargo by ourselves using handheld tractor beams and stationary tractor beams, one piece at a time. This is so much fun. It is really interesting when games are doing the same tedious and boring things we have to do in real life and call it gameplay. Where are the machines that are doing this for us? Where are NPCs? Nothing in the game yet, and CRG is still in the concept phase about those, I guess.
This one addition, I think, is going to change not just cargo, but also the way that we interact with everything else in the game. Inventory, player items, purchases, ship items. It's a fundamental change to how players are going to deal with the world.
Yes, Chris wants us to physically do everything ourselves. For example, you want to have a different shield generator or different gun on your ship. You have to walk to your gun, you have to replace those items. And before you can do this, you have to put those items into your hangar, of course. This is not how a game should do it. Yes, if you want to, you should be able to do everything manually, but there should be services, and many things can just get done in the background. Say, for example, you want to change a shield generator, you have to put your ship into a shop and you have to wait a very few minutes and then it's done. Being able to do everything yourself is a nice touch, but a game should never force this onto a player. This is not gameplay. This is tedious and boring.
Freight elevators are going to be implemented as an access point inside of player hangars,
Where the player can interface with cargo to get it ready to put it on their ship.
Yes, freight elevators, we got a message by now. But the more important question is, how is the cargo moved from the freight elevator into your ship or into your hangar? Again, I guess we have to do everything manually because machines are not a thing 900 years into our future.
Players will be using their tractor beams in order to detach things from the platform and then haul it onto their ship.
I knew it! Players are supposed to move everything by themselves using handheld tractor beams, and this in almost 11 years, 10 out of 10, Chris. Especially interesting since Tony Suborak said 6.5 years ago we actually got a pretty comprehensive design right now how to move cargo. Yeah, are you serious, CRG? What about machines? Are there no machines in the future? Are people doing everything manually?
And vice versa. They'll be using the tractor beams in order to detach things from the cargo grids and put them onto the freight platform. I think that this is going to make the whole experience feel a lot more tactile and organic, as well as there's a lot of fun and interesting gameplay around just how you stack things, how you sequence them, take a group of people, decide how you're actually going to load things together.
Okay, I checked. Today is not the 1st of April. Yes, sure, people like it to do tedious and boring things like having to move cargo one SCU crate at a time, like having to stack cargo so that you have enough room in your hangar. This is the most interesting and perfect gameplay ever. Are you serious? Is this the kind of devs that are working for CIG? There are no machines in the future that are doing this for us. There are no NPCs. I am out of words. It's fine to give players the ability to do this if they want to move a very few items, but don't force this onto players.
It's going to be figuring out where do we take that big box, where do we put the ship items, where do we put the guns.
Translation: we, CIG, have no clue how to create interesting and fun gameplay, interesting and fun missions. Instead, you have to move cargo one SCU crate at a time. Instead, you have to stand up every 2 SCU, walk down a ladder and move 2 cargo crates so you can continue salvaging. CIG needs someone who has a good understanding of fun and interesting gameplay, fun and interesting missions. So far, I see nothing of this in Star Citizen.
Instanced hangars solve a particular problem. How do we have people spending an extended period of time in their hangar loading cargo now that we've added these freight platforms, but also allow the locations to have traffic coming in and out of the landing zones? What we're doing here is decoupling the access to a hangar from the occupancy. And all that really means is that we can dynamically create these hangars at runtime, and they're kind of set aside for players to spend time inside of.
I said this many years ago, I think instance hangars are a very good idea. You can load, unload in peace, no one can mess with you. But even those hangars need machines, NPCs and automation. I was rarely so angry about the current state of Star Citizen in year 11 with $600 million. CIG still has no idea how cargo is supposed to be moved via machines, NPCs or automatically. CIG still has no idea how to create fun and interesting gameplay, fun and interesting missions, and tries to sell boring and tedious things like moving 1 crate at a time as fun gameplay. Of course, it's perfectly fine and actually very welcome to have the option to move things manually, like changing a gun or moving a few crates, but the game should not force this onto players as the only way to move things. We might get machines and NPCs helping with moving cargo and items in the future, but knowing CIG, this is many, many years away. Let me know what you think in the comments below and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Fire when ready, Flicker. Okay, I thought so. I didn't take damage. I didn't take any damage at all, and Buggy is destroyed. Give like a fire when ready. Yeah, it's very exposed. Offline. I didn't take any damage. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Camural_SC.